I only shop for me. Like when I'm shopping, I only think about what I want. Like I go, what are we getting Bert today?
Like you never see something in the store, you're like, oh, that's Tom, or that's Leanne.
No.
Oh wow.
I go, I wonder if they have that in a men's size. My daughters are Leanne's children. They're not my children. They're Leanne's children. Like I show up, but like I'm just another one of her kids. I'm the equivalent to one of her dogs or a cat.
Delusional narcissism is a psychological phenomenon that combines elements of narcissistic personality disorder and delusional thinking. Individuals with this condition exhibit an inflated sense of self-importance, an intense need for admiration, and a lack of empathy for others.
Without me, they're nothing.
It's like she hands it to you, but I bought it.
Yeah, they are absolutely fucking nothing. They are fucking, when Kurt Cobain died, I'm Kurt Cobain in that family. Look, she can go start another band, start the Foo Fighters, have fun, marry another man, but you have to marry another man. Or your band can't exist. I'm fucking Kurt Cobain.
I'm glad we've finally been able to scientifically diagnose Bert. We've always known he's a narcissist, but his particular strand of narcissism seems to be sprinkled with delusion. And it just goes to show how fake Tom and Bert's recent apology was, where they said they'd listened to the feedback and decided to make a few changes.
Guys, we're making changes to this show.
We are. Yeah.
We're making changes to this show.
So no previews at the top.
No previews at the top.
You're never going to cry or say you had the best night of your life.
Yep. I'm going to talk very grounded in every story. They won't be interesting. They're going to be just like it happened.
No exaggerations.
No, very minimal exaggeration. Did you hear that, guys?
Yeah.
I'm trying to tone down my laugh, too. All the things you don't like about me, I'm changing.
By the way, I've listened too. Look at this bare wrist.
He took an Uber X here.
I did.
I'll admit I mistakenly believed that Bert was actually going to make an effort to change his ways to improve their views and prevent their show from dying, but it seems like it was all just one big joke. Because after missing last week's episode with Jon Stewart, in this episode it only took Bert 30 seconds to ascend into full flight and make up for lost time.
We are rolling. We're here. Bertrand is in Austin, and joining us today, we're very excited, is one of our absolute favorite comics, one of the best comics working today, Brian Simpson, everybody.
Thank you.
Listen to that round of applause.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Do you remember the first time you met me?
No.
I do.
Wait a minute. Well, no, you remember the first time you met me.
Yes.
Okay, yeah.
Because I didn't like you.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Well, no, because it's you. And I know now that I know you, I just know that you're not like this fucking sparkle razzle dazzle guy. You're like a hi. I heard you on that Two Bears. I was in I was in LA. I was in LA at the time. It was right around the pandemic, I think.
It was a few years ago.
And you had never heard of me. You met me, you never heard of me. And then you did Two Bears, and I was like, you still never heard of me? And then throughout the whole thing, you brought me up once and he just went past. He was like, yeah, whatever. And then I tried to become friends again, and I was like, hey, does Brian have a big head? Because I have a size 8 head. I have a lot of hats I can give him. And you just were like, I don't think he'd be interested. And I was like, how fucking hard do I gotta try to get these guy to fuck with me?
So straight up, Bert found a way to make Brian's appearance on Two Bears about himself. It's almost like he felt like he was the guest after missing an episode, and we've seen this before with so many other guests where Bert will ask them what they think of him and why they didn't like him when they first met him. Bobby Lee does the same thing. They seem to be obsessed with what people think about them, yet they claim to not read the comment section. But after Bert got Brian's first impressions off his chest, Brian started telling them a personal story about how Tom and his wife Christina helped him when he wasn't famous and he needed a boost. So Bert decided to hijack the story with his own and again make it about how generous and kind he is, yet he feels like he doesn't get the recognition he thinks he deserves. And you could tell that Tom was biting his tongue for the whole intro, but then finally had to call Bert out. The problem is they all laugh about Bert's personality disorder like it's some big joke, but later on you'll see how damaging it is to his own family.
No.
This says poor India.
Would you, Bert? You know what I'm saying? I'll always be grateful for both of y'all because, especially, you, Tom, and Christina, because, Tom and Christina went out of their way to help me when, there was nothing, they got nothing out of it,
It's the best time to help somebody. It's weird, because, there's people I've helped in their career that have said to me, hey, thank you very much. But then sometimes, Do you ever feel like it's still not enough? Where you go like, I kind of need you to say that a little more often.
I was totally thinking the opposite when you said that, because this is like Bert has such. Oh my god, it's such an interesting peek into someone's psyche. First of all, he's like, just start from the beginning. He goes, "Do you remember when you met me?" Most people don't say that. right. Like, he's like, "What are your memories of meeting me?" And then he's like, I tried to get you to like me. I don't like that. I didn't feel it right away. And now he's talking about essentially being like a charitable person, being like, yeah, I need a little more fucking feedback.
Now, don't get me wrong, I know this is a comedy podcast and they're just talking shit. It's an ongoing gag how delusional and self-centered Bert is, and I used to think it was funny as well, maybe 4 or 5 years ago, but now it seems to be the central theme of every episode and every podcast that Bert goes on. Everyone just sits around laughing at Bert or roasting him like Jimmy Carr and Tony Hinchcliffe did recently. So at what point is Tom and maybe Joe Rogan going to sit Bert down and help him get the treatment that he really needs? Because Bert basically has the brain of a teenage boy, right? The more his buddies laugh and encourage him, the more he leans into it and thinks it's a bit. And if you read the comment section, you'll quickly realize that most of their regular listeners cannot stand Bert, and at this point they're just hate watching or just skipping the whole episode with Bert altogether. Just to give you an idea of how serious of a problem this is for him, listen to him explain how he's fully aware of the things that he does that are annoying and toxic to the people around him, yet he has no control over his behavior and can't do anything to stop it.
Well, you are fascinating. You have an encyclopedic knowledge of yourself.
Yeah.
You ever know that? Like, he knows everything about himself.
Yeah.
I wish I had that level of self
enjoyment.
He could give you all the stats.
He does, yeah. He does know all of it.
I know a lot about Bert.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of mine.
You're a Bert spurt.
I love me. I love me some me. Wasn't that Terrell Owens saying?
Yeah.
I love me some me.
Like, do you ever have to pump yourself up? Like, do you ever deal with depression?
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but I don't know if it's depression. It's more like just anxiety and like kind of like a sense of doubt of I find myself annoying as fuck. Like sometimes I'll listen to myself. If I hear my voice, I go, I fucking hate the sound of my voice. And I'll listen to Two Bears sometimes, and then I'll go like, why the fuck are you? Let Tommy talk. Like it'll drive me nuts, but I can't help it in the moment.
Do you ever do that while it's happening?
No.
See, I do. Like sometimes I'm like, stop talking, be quiet, shut the fuck up, and I can't stop.
The problem with me is that when I'm always in such a good mood and I'm always talkative, that when I stop talking, everyone thinks something's wrong with me. Like there was a period of time when we were doing Rogan, when we were doing like Sober October things, where I actually was like, just stop talking. Like every time you say something, it seems to be either made fun of or it pisses Joe off. And I remember one episode where you guys are three talking and I didn't talk for like, there's got to be a clock. I'm sure it was probably 10 minutes. Yeah. But I didn't talk for like 20 minutes. And I just sat there silent and Joe goes, are you okay? And I was like, I'm fine. I'm just listening. Like this is what other people do. Why can't I do it every now and then?
Yeah. They think something's wrong with you.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
I can tell when I exhaust people.
So he's clearly fully aware how insufferable he is to be around, yet he's almost bragging about how helpless he is to fix it and get help because it seems to make everyone laugh. But when it comes to his family, Bert's got this really weird dynamic going where he knows that he's a bad father and a bad husband, but he justifies it to himself because he brings in so much money every month. Now, this is nothing new. I'm sure everyone watching this right now knows people in transactional relationships, but I've never known anyone to be so open about how toxic they are to their family and use it as a flex. Like, this is just wild. Bert's done a lot of crazy shit in his career, but the way he talks about how much of a letdown he is to his wife and daughters is straight up sad.
It's hard to buy presents for all of y'all because y'all are so successful. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like y'all are at the point where like you have all the stuff you want. Mm-hmm. So it's like you gotta buy something they can't get.
But you got me an awesome gift. That was fucking awesome.
Oh yeah, have y'all used that thing?
Yeah. I'm talking about the frame.
Yeah. Well, see, that's what I mean. So I finally got to him because a gift is like a prank, right? It's like you have to know me well enough to that's what a good gift feels like. It's like, you know me.
Oh, yeah, shit. Exactly.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like the only way you knew to give me that is because you know me. It's like, you can get somebody a gift card, or some shit, but it's like, give me something that you thought it's thoughtful,
Yeah.
That's an interesting way to look at a gift. I'll tell you why I'm not good at gifts is I only shop for me. Like when I'm shopping, I only think about what I want. Like I go, what are we getting Bert today? Like,
but you've never seen a thing and immediately, or it's just like it's like when you see a meme and you go, oh, Tom would think this is hilarious, and you send it to him immediately. Like you never see something in the store, you're like, oh, that's Tom, or that's Leanne.
No.
Oh wow.
I go, I wonder if they have that in a men's size. Yeah, I only buy for me. Like I'm so bad that at Christmas, every Christmas I have like 12 gifts I've picked up for me because I go out shopping for them and I buy stuff for me. And then I'm always at the last minute on Amazon going, what the f do I get my kids? Like I'm bad at buying gifts.
You
I'm
just
not
have a
good.
bunch of stuff for you.
A bunch. I buy and I wrap it for me. And then I put it under the tree for me.
Damn.
Yeah. And it's all shit I
And
want.
who's it from? Santa? Yeah.
I don't have the patience for that.
That's
No,
the worst part.
I give it to Isla and Georgia to wrap.
Oh, you wrap this.
Yeah, I go, hey, I got you guys something for me. And they're like, oh, thanks, Dad.
Oh, so you don't have to buy me a gift because
Don't buy me a gift. I don't want to know what you're going to get me. I don't know. I thought I killed it this year because I was like very selfless. I wasn't drinking around Christmas. So I was like thinking about everyone else. And I bought them all this cool shit. They never like took it with their, Georgia didn't take any of it to college with her.
She left it all?
She left it all. Leanne's is still in a box over by my recliner. Like no one touched any of it. And I bought them like thoughtful, fun gifts. And they just were like, nah. They didn't. Leanne's better at buying gifts, but Leanne gives love by giving you service. Like she loves you and then thinks of you and then goes, oh, you know what, Brian? Well, I'm sure Leanne's probably sent both of you guys gifts in the.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like that's how Leanne shows you love is to give you gift and a service. I show you love by telling you I love you. And then I go, you know how much I love you. Like, you know how much I love you.
Oh,
like, I share it with you and I share it with everyone around you and I just celebrate you all the time.
Oh man, that's brutal. Let's just stop for a moment and break that down. Bert cut down on his drinking over Christmas and bought his wife and daughters thoughtful gifts, but they all missed and they didn't like them. Clearly, he doesn't know them as well as he thought he did, and he justifies it by using that bullshit love language theory where Leanne shows love through acts of service and gift giving, whereas for him, he just tells you he loves you. That is such a cop-out. I mean, I don't usually spend a lot of time discussing podcasters' personal relationships with their family members, but for Bert to actually put effort into being thoughtful, thinking he was being present and sobering up so he could think clearly, and then it all backfired. Yeah, that's all kinds of fucked up. It actually makes me feel grateful for the relationships I have that I can go out and buy something nice for my friends and family, and they'll actually like it and use it day to day, even though I don't have a fraction of the money that Bert does. I mean, he could probably buy them anything they want, and he still couldn't get it right. But then the conversation got even darker. Bert randomly brought up how disappointed he is that his father and uncle are still alive and how he never thought he'd have to wait so long to get his inheritance. Now he finally discovered that he's the one with the most money in his family and everyone else is waiting for him to go so they can get all of his money.
God, I wish I'd known there was going to be no inheritance. I would live so differently.
Really?
I would live so fucking differently. No, I'm the inheritance.
I knew from the moment I was born there wasn't ain't nobody leaving me shit.
Did you ever think people were going to leave you money?
Not anything significant.
Oh, I had money fucking waiting for me.
Really?
I thought so.
Really?
I didn't understand how money worked, so I thought that I didn't, and I was like, well, my dad didn't have money until I was like in college. So but after college he made money, and I was like, I wonder what I'll get. Like it's a really creepy thought.
Yeah.
But I was like, I wonder what again. I had an uncle that had money. I was like, I wonder, and they're all still alive. They're all still alive.
Yeah, I don't know what's up with Bert this week, but that's kind of dark. I don't know, maybe it's just me, but complaining that your father and uncle are still alive and you're getting tired of waiting so long for your inheritance, yeah, that sounds pretty crazy. Like, that's not a normal conversation I would have with my buddies over a drink, let alone on a comedy podcast. But then Tom started telling the story about how one of his sons said one night that he never wanted Christina to die, but he didn't mention Tom. And so Bert jumped in and said that his daughters are his wife's kids and not his, and then went on some rant about how they're nothing without him because he pays for everything.
He's like, if I had to choose.
Yeah.
So if I had to choose, I'd let Tom die before Push. Like if I was one of their kids.
Oh, right.
Yeah,
right,
I'm not going to I'd rather, she's very sweet with those boys. Those are her boys. Those are her boys.
That's true.
Those are her boys.
No, they'd be better off.
Like Leanne, those my daughters are Leanne's children. They're not my children. They're Leanne's children. Like I show up, but like I'm just another one of her kids. I'm the equivalent to one of her dogs or a cat. Like
Right.
I'm not.
Well, it makes sense because it's like it's like because they don't understand money yet.
Yeah.
They get everything from her.
Yeah.
Right? They don't understand that it actually all comes from you. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And that she's useless.
Yeah.
In the entire fucking relationship.
It's like-
Without me, they're nothing.
It's like she hands it to you, but I bought it.
Yeah, they are absolutely fucking nothing. They are fucking. If when Kurt Cobain died, I'm Kurt Cobain in that family. Look, she can go start another band, start the Foo Fighters, have fun, marry another man, but you have to marry another man. Or your band can't exist. I'm fucking Kurt Cobain.
But here's the truth: the money comes from you, but she knows what to get. She knows what to buy, right?
Oh, I really honestly don't even know how much money we have, and I don't know what we can afford or why we buy certain things. And I just go, can we afford that? She was like, yeah. And I go, okay, then you can do it. Because I don't know. I have no fucking clue.
See, I know for a fact that he's the opposite.
Of course.
Because I know you think like Tom is like, no, I need to know where every motherfucking penny at.
That's why he has more money than I do. With that, and he's a tax evader, and he moved to this city. But no, I know. I mean, I don't even know how much money I have, but I know Tom has more.
And I don't pay a manager.
And you don't pay a manager?
Right.
Oh, and it's like, he's smart with his fucking money, and that came from him and his dad.
So just quickly, for those of you who don't know, Tom's dad was a vice president at Merrill Lynch. That's why Bert was saying his dad knows about money. I'm not sure why Tom acts like he doesn't come from money when everyone knows that his dad was rich. It seems to be a theme with these guys. And yet again, here we are with 3 comedians on a podcast talking about money. Bert asked the question, how much money would you need to be set for life and stop working? Brian said around $40 million, which is wild, and he went on to explain that the number is so high because he would want to pay for all his family's houses, as well as their ex-wives, which Bert thinks is a black thing.
It's something that I find very endearing, but I cannot connect with when they go, I bought my mom a house.
So
you
you didn't buy your mom a house? Where she
But she
living?
already had a house.
She had a house.
Oh,
She had a house.
right,
Yeah,
right.
She had a house.
Yeah,
like I grew up in a house.
My mom ain't living in no apartment.
Yeah.
Yeah. No,
But it's like it seems like a cultural thing to do. Is like take care of your parents, like set everyone up. Like,
Yeah. The white thing is like, oh, fuck them. They're fine. Yeah.
I got pissed off when I found out I was the inheritance. When I found out I make more money than all them, and now all the fucking dreams I had of not working, they have about me and waiting for me to die.
Right.
How close did you guys think? Were you worried I was going to die for real?
I thought it's definitely reasonable to think about.
For real?
Well, that you would get into some, like if somebody had been like, Bert died, I wouldn't be like, you gotta be fucking kidding me. That's,
Hold on.
yeah.
It wasn't that bad, was I?
Well, I just thought because my first time actually like partying with you was that Fully Loaded tour, and I was just like, I couldn't believe how much you could party and not be dying.
Redman was the one that was like the canary in the mine when he looks at me. He goes, "Oh, you don't look as bad as Reddit says." And I was like, "What?" And he goes, "They say you're gonna die." Yeah. I was like, "What are you talking about?" And he goes, "You don't read Reddit?" And I was like, "I don't read anything, Redman." And he was like, "Oh, everyone says you're gonna die, but you don't look that bad." And I was like,
Wow.
I was like, "Okay, you're the only one in here that says I don't look bad." I was like, "Brian, maybe both of us need rehab."
Yeah, Bert's obsession with death seems to be getting worse. He basically brings it up on every episode. But I gotta admit, there's something kinda funny about seeing a Nepo baby like Bert getting all worked up because his parents are still alive and he has to work and pay for his own bills instead of living off his inheritance like he'd always planned. Bert's the kind of guy to complain about his wife and daughters using him for money and not realize where they learnt that from. And Tom just sits there and laughs at him every week. I remember not long ago Bert telling the story about Tom's agent trying to have a talk with Bert about slowing down and easing up on the party boy lifestyle, to which Bert responded by telling him to piss off and mind his own business. Bert's even mentioned before how Rogan and a couple of his other friends have tried to have that same talk with him, but he just gets annoyed and shuts them down. So it seems like Bert's recent health binge is well and truly over then. He's back to drinking every day and putting on weight again. It was so obvious from the beginning that it wouldn't last long. He even said himself the only reason why he took a break was so he could keep drinking, which is some insane level logic. But as for the crap he was talking about his wife and daughters, his father and uncle as well, that is so messed up, especially considering that they probably watch his podcast as well. Even Bert's probably watching this episode back and shouting at himself for saying all those things out loud. Just when you think he can't get any worse, he pulls one out of the bag and descends to a lower level. Between him and Brandon Schaub, there's fierce competition for biggest degenerate on the internet. Anyway, that's it from me. I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to go and check out the link in the description below to my Patreon. I recently posted a video about a couple of things that have happened in the last month or so regarding Joe Rogan's copyright bullying and how he shut down Duncan Trussell's attempt to talk about my Zin video on JRE last week. Otherwise, if you're not a regular of this channel yet, hit the subscribe button and don't forget to give me a thumbs up if you ended up enjoying this video. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you in the next one.
I can't do this anymore. She left, but she left us there because he didn't. She wouldn't let him put his hands on us.
Yeah.
So she knew we were safe there, and she was young and broke, so she couldn't take two kids to be broke.
Yeah.
So it was that kind of situation, and then we ended up being taken from her, from our grandmother.
God damn it, man! You realize I can't wrap my head around that. I've grown up with such a soft life.
I keep it pushing, bro.